As you saw, I am Brian, and Rick.
And I'm Rick.
Rick's over there.
I'm Rick.
Yeah,
somewhere down here.
We're working on.
Big shiny bald head.
Yeah. And so welcome to the channel here on Deadzone the Podcast, the
Twitch feed.
Sure. Deadzone the Twitch.
Deadzone Twitch.
And so what we thought would be a really fun thing to do for folks is to do a little sample kind of demo game of the basic patrol mission here, but to kind of go through how to play the game. We've had a couple of folks and been seeing a lot of people in the Deadzone Fanatics page, new people getting into the game, want to check it out, and they're looking for those tutorials and guides on how to play. And so we figured, hey, we know how to play. We like to talk out loud, and
sometimes a little too much.
Sometimes too much. And so we thought we'd do this quick little demo game. We got 100 points apiece. Rick is going to be playing the Plague, our
Yay!
mutant space monster friends, and meanwhile I'm going to be playing the Rebs. Woo, go Rebs!
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. It's probably pretty obvious to everybody. In fact, I'm sure I would get nothing but hate if I did not say it. It's like in a contract or something.
Is it in the contract?
Maybe.
We should probably put it in the contract.
But so it's we're gonna be kind of walking through all the different steps of the game, from putting together our lists. Again, we kind of have really quick, simple ones, and then going through how to start the game, how to play the first couple turns, and also to say out loud, what we're kind of thinking, like, why am I making this strategic decision? Now we'll have to see how well that impacts our tactical advantage as we say them out loud in front of each other. But I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I'm just gonna do a lot of gurgling. I mean, I am the Plague.
Gurgle. Well, I'll have to translate then. It's like, Rick is going to move into a disadvantageous position out in front of my guys. And obviously, because I said it, that's what he's going to have to do.
It doesn't work that way. Okay, it might work that way.
Well, yeah.
We'll see.
So, should be a fun little video, and hope you guys are, enjoy it and are entertained, if nothing else. And if you're new to the game, very much welcome. Deadzone is an absolute blast, and we hope this is going to be informative for you and to check it out yourself.
No, we're not. We're not experts at Twitch.
We're working on that part yet. We're still working on that part.
We are totally working on that part.
Yep.
Okay, so one of the things when you set up for Deadzone is you pick your mission.
Yep.
Obviously, Deadzone's played on a 2x2 and it's cubed.
Yep.
Everything is cubed in the game. You don't need a tape measure. Makes it quick and fast when you're doing your movements. Mm-hmm. So we're set up in patrol. So with patrol, what that means is we have 4 objective markers on the board. We have one here and one here. These are both worth 1 victory point. And then we have one here and one down here, and these are worth 2 victory points.
And so basically what we want to do is we want to have one of our guys standing on those objective markers at the end of a round, so after everyone's kind of gone. And if you're on there alone for your team, you're going to get those victory points. And ultimately that is what wins you the game, is achieving those objectives and getting a certain number of victory points. I think it's 10 for 100 points.
Yeah, it's 10 or 12. We'll
keep it simple. Usually the game is played at a little bit higher than 100, but it's a great way to just get a feel for the rules, and if you're running little demos. In fact, we picked lists that actually come with more guys than usual 100-point lists. So to showcase, to really quickly showcase the Rebs force that's going to be playing today, I've got a certain number of troops. These are my basic units. Basically, I got 3 Reb troopers denoted by their long flowing coats and their Kenobi wannabes. And then I have what's called a Yindich, which is this guy that's in red. He's kind of a space monkey lion. They're a lot of fun and very agile. So these make up my core troops, as it were.
So why do you need so many core troops?
I need a number of core troops to unlock specialists. And so specialists include my Grogan here, who's got a heavy machine gun, which can really help me with some crowd control as well as hinder my opponents. And then also I have this big guy called a Teraton, which is my
Space turtles.
My giant teleporting space turtle. These guys are big bruisers in melee and a whole lot of fun to play. And basically I need to take one troop per specialist. So this is called the troop tax, as it were. And so one of these troops allows me to use a Teraton, one allows me to use my Grogan. And then the other ones are kind of to build out my list, so I've got a little bit more to play.
Cannon fodder for my plague.
They are dependable and reliable
Cannon fodder
troops. Lastly, I've got a leader unit for my force. This one is called the Rebel Cell Leader, and I've picked that one has a couple of configuration options. I've gone with one that's called the Sphere, which is basically a hammerhead shark person.
Shamrock.
A shamrock. Which unlocks a little bit bigger gun, which is kind of fun to use. And then they also have some special rules that we'll get into a little bit later. But that is the Rebs force that we'll be fielding today.
So I guess that means I got to put my plague up there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So my plague have 3 troops. Pretty simple. They're stage 3 ghouls. Nothing fancy about them. But they unlocked 3 specialists for me, which the 3 specialists are 2 stage 3 specialists with HMGs, again, to help lay down some cover fire for my guys. And this is why the lists are kind of funny because, well, I'm bringing a Teraton as well.
A plague.
My Teraton is not as weaponized as his, but that's okay. And then, of course, the leader for my group is my stage 3 general. I brought the general.
Yeah.
And we'll go into what the leader's for as we get going, because the leader allows us to roll our command dice and give us a splat special ability that both of us have that are unique to each of the leaders in the game. But to get going, since we have... So usually you would roll off to see who has the right deployment, who gets to choose which side. But I think it's safe to say we're going to stick with Brian on that side and me on this side. But that doesn't mean that we're not still going to do it.
So we're going to do the recon roll, which is a 5d8 dice test. And basically your leader is going to have a number that you're rolling for.
My recon is 4.
Yours is 4. Mine is 5. So on 5s, I gain successes. On 4s, Rick gains successes. So
the great thing about Deadzone,
looks like
8
got 2.
explodes.
Of course. That's another 5.
That's another 5. So I got 4 to Brian's 2, which means I won recon. So what that means is I get to choose which one of us deploys first and goes first. I am going to let Brian deploy first.
Of course. Okay, and so with patrol, it's the back 4.
Yep, it's just the 4 line, yeah.
So let's see.
So one of the things with deployment in Deadzone is it doesn't go back and forth. Brian will actually deploy all of his models, and then I'll deploy all of my models.
Yeah, and so one thing that it won't make much difference in this game, but it's always nice to spread out your forces as much as possible so you're not all crowding into one cube. Now, you can fill up a cube up to 4 units, basically. They all have a certain size to them, which is also doubles as their health. So a lot of these guys are size 1, which means I can have up to 4 of them in a cube. Now, I've got my Teraton over here is size 3, which means I can have her and one other unit in the cube at a time. And so I'm just gonna
fun lore thing. Female turtles are scary.
Yep. Yeah, the big teratons are all female. There's some a lot of the males are smaller within the context of the lore. And so what I've kind of done is I tried to set my guys up in such a way where I've got some good sight lines to the objectives, but my guys are also in cover. Now with Deadzone in particular, we have true line of sight. So if you can see part of a model, you can shoot at it. But and so that's kind of how cover works. On the flip side, if a unit is way out in the open, you can see the entire thing. The shooter gets bonuses when attacking them. And so that's where it's advantageous to kind of hide guys either slightly around corners.
So as he's still talking, I'm going to start deploying my guys.
Yep. And so that's where placement is very important. Even though we're not measuring with like rule sticks and or yardsticks and everything like that, it's very important where you place your guy in the cube to help protect them from enemy attack, as it were. Put them all in one cube.
Yeah, okay.
For instance, in terms of that one cube scenario, the heavy machine guns that both Rick and I are bringing to bear, when you attack someone in the cube, not only are you're trying to hit the one person, but you will knock down, essentially, you'll pin everybody in the cube with them. They won't take damage, but it means that they have to take part of their turn to stand up, which is a great way to hinder movement and protect yourself from...
Yep. So now that we're both deployed, so Brian gets to go first, but there's a couple things that... It's a game, so obviously the first thing... Good luck, Reb. So the first thing you do in Deadzone after your deployment is you roll your command dice. Now with your command dice, you get 3, and then your leader will give you a bonus 1 or a bonus 2. For both of us, we both get Tactician 1, so we both have 4 dice. As long as your leader is alive and more than half of your force is alive, you can re-roll whatever you want out of all of them.
If your leader dies, you lose that Tactician bonus, which means that you would have 1 less or 2 less. In our case, it's just 1 less command dice to work with.
I'm going to re-roll my 2 fights.
Rick doesn't think he'll be using fights in the first round here. I'm going to re-roll
I'll take that.
This black one. This represents the Special Army ability. And because I already had 1, I think I'm just going to re-roll this one. And I get an extra dice. So these are special actions or enhancements that we're able to add to our force as we're playing here. And so that'll be things like an extra move, or an extra shoot, or an extra fight, or having
a whole bunch of extra dice.
Extra dice. Other
or special abilities like your splat.
Or the special abilities. Or even an extra activation, because we alternate activations of units. Which is one thing that I got, which is always fun.
I have one too. Alright, so here we go. And because I picked Brian to deploy first, he also gets to go first.
So, one thing before I go...
Oh, Scout.
Yep, so my Yindage, my little red lion monkey, has a special ability called Scout, which means after we deployed, he gets to do a free sprint action, so I can move him up the board. And so he can do up to 2 cubes then, so I'm going to move him 1 and 2. So he's up there, and he's tucked in, and that didn't count towards my activations. And so now I can go.
Now you get to go.
Now I get to go. Alright, so the opening moves here are always kind of interesting. Most of our guys have range 6 as far as their weapons are concerned. So we do typically have to move in a little ways before we can start shooting at one another. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got one of my little Rev-Up troopers. Going to move him up the field a little ways. I can see one of the zombies here, or ghouls, my mistake. And so I'm going to count the cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now 6 is the range of my rifle, so I'm going to take a shot at him. So it's a base 3 dice test for my guy.
both of us. So I'm rolling to survive and he's rolling to shoot.
Yep, so my shoot stat is 5 ups for my
my
rebel
survive
troopers.
stat is 5 ups.
So 5s and 5s. All right. So I managed to get 3 successes versus Rick's
My 1.
1.
2.
2. I was like, wait.
So this is where that size thing comes in. So I'm size 1, which means I have essentially 2 health, really. But I also have no armor. So that 1 damage is going to directly go. So you were shooting at that one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take 1 damage. So now the next time, if Brian were to take another shot and roll that exact same thing, all he would need to do is get 1 success, and that would kill that model.
Yep. And so the last thing I'll do, I've now moved and shot. So I skipped over saying that basically you have 2 short actions that you can do or 1 long action. And so a move was a short because I only moved my minimum distance of 1. And then I shot as my action, which is also a short action. So with that, I'll activate, mark my trooper as activated, and it'll go over to Rick's turn.
Sure will. Let's see. Oh, hum-de-dum-de-dum. What should my plague do?
They could surrender. But that wouldn't be very entertaining, would it, folks?
Okay. So the plague are, if they are able to move 2, 3. So on a short action they can move 2. On a long action they can move 3. So I'm going to move my HM dude right up here. Because Brian has this really bad habit of always giving me a clear line of sight.
No, I don't.
So what clear line of sight means is I can see his full model and base.
Mm-hmm.
So my ghoul specialist with his HMG is going to take a shot at his specialist.
Boo.
So it's 3 dice. But because I'm elevated 1 cube up, I get an extra dice for that. And because I have clear line of sight, I get 2 additional dice.
Yeah. And so it's my 3 dice against Rick's 6. And so what I'm going to do is, now normally I roll on 4s for this particular unit to survive. I'm going to try and stack the odds in my favor. I'm going to use my special command dice here to give myself an extra dice. And they have resilient 1.
Ugh.
So here we go. Okay. And so I've got 2 successes so far.
I have 2 successes.
Resilient 1, which is an ability of my Grogan, means I get to re-roll a failed survive test. And still nothing. But 2 versus 2 is a
So
wash.
no damage is done, but I'm shooting him with an HMG, which means he is now suppressed. And with suppressed, it knocks him down. And it takes a short action to stand up.
Yep.
On his turn. But with that, I'm also going to use one of my special little dice to give me an extra activation. So I get to go again.
Yeah. Now you may have noticed when Rick was moving that his guy was able to move from the ground floor up onto the top. Essentially, movement like that in Deadzone is that if there is a wall with climbable surfaces, whether that be windows or anything really,
Yep.
a unit can move diagonally and vertically in the same fashion. The only exception being like if it is like a wide open gap, like a unit cannot like jump up this gap here because there's not a clear wall path for them to move. But they can like come up the side and do things like that.
Hey, what's up, Coach?
Coach, hey, how's it going?
So yeah, I did my extra activation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move my other HMG guy, 1, 2, and I'm going to take a shot at his troop sitting right there. Right there.
Right there?
So with this shot, I get the regular 3 dice, plus 1 for elevation. Unfortunately, I don't have clear line of sight on this one, so I'm just rolling the 4 dice.
Okay, I've just got my 3. I'm not going to add anything. Now my trooper survives on 6s, so here we go.
I shoot on 5s.
I've got 1.
I've got 2.
All right, so I blocked one of those, so my trooper is going to be wounded. Wow, this is not the bloodiest game ever.
And, again, HMG, which suppresses him, and whoever else is in that cube.
Which just happens to be my leader.
Oh, darn.
Which is not great for me. But yeah, so that's...
And now it's to you.
Now it's back to me. Okay, so that was not great. Not gonna lie. But we can see about bouncing back from that. So what I think we're gonna do is I'm going to kind of looking at my movement options here. Now his HMGs have already gone, which means that I could attack them. They are out in the open. However, because his other guys have not gone yet, it's a little bit more advantageous to me to take them out of any kind of future actions against me. So what I'm going to do...
So he says.
So I say. I'm going to take this other trooper here. I'm going to move him... yeah, why not? Let's have him... He's going to climb up. It's my turn to get some elevation here. And I'm going to make sure he's behind that box. And I'm going to take a shot at... I'm going to attack the same guy that I was shooting at before, because my luck with dice is not great. And I needed every advantage as I can get. So I get 3 dice, plus 1 for the elevation.
I'm going to use an extra dice.
Rick is using an extra dice to save this guy. All right, I'm shooting on 5s.
I am surviving on 5s.
Whammo!
I got 3.
I got 1.
Hey, it looks like a red roll.
So the shot goes wide, and so that's not great.
Gonna do it?
And so it's my turn. I'm going to use an extra activation. I'm going to mark that guy as being activated. And let's see. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to stand up my Grogan, and I'm going to then, so that took a short action, so I've got 1 short action left. I could either shoot from where I am, which would not be a bad option, but I think I might be able to have him hop up here as his move. And yep. So then I've got a shoot action, a command dice. So even though that I'm out of actions with him, because I've got a command dice, I can now take the shot. And so because his guy is out in the open, much like he shot at me, I get 3 dice plus 2 for the clear shot.
And I'm going to use my other dice.
All right. And so this is my Grogan. He shoots on 5s.
I survive on 5s.
Okay.
Hey, look, an 8. So in Deadzone, when you roll an 8, no matter what, whether you're shooting, whether you're surviving, whether you're trying to hack items on the board, 8s always explode, which means it's a success, and then you get to roll another dice.
Yep. And so that one adds to your pool.
Yeah, it didn't work.
So,
but I had 3.
You had 3, and then I've got 3 so far. But with my weight of fire, which is because it's a heavy machine gun, I get to re-roll 1 missed dice, and I'm realizing I'm shaking the table, so I'm going to stop that. And I got a 6, which gives me a net total of 4 versus his 3. So that's again a wound.
Another wound.
And his HMG is now pinned as well.
It's the first one, right?
Yeah, this guy.
I have wound tokens over here, I swear.
But because I use my extra activation, I can't keep doing extra activations. Pretty sure. And And so it's going to be going back to Rick's turn to see how he retaliates.
Oh boy.
We don't want to get a copyright strike.
What? I'm going to move up here and I'm going to take a shot at... Yeah, the downed.
I've got a down trooper.
The down trooper.
Okay, he's already got a wound.
So Plague are not great at shooting. In fact, I shoot on a 6.
Don't worry, Rebs are not good at surviving. They survive on 6s.
Hey, there we go. Wow.
But it's my day to survive.
Yep. Well, that was fun.
Yep, so I got 2 successes out of that.
Yep.
And so miraculously, this guy, he just kept his head down, and even though he's bleeding out, he managed to live for another round.
For another day-ish.
All right, and so with that...
Yeah, it's back to you.
It's back to me. I think he's going to return fire, so I'm going to stand him up as a short action, and I'm going to take a shot, firing on 5s.
Right on 5s.
And that was my turn to completely whiff.
I'm pretty survived.
Yep. So it's all the blood in his eyes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's what
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So it's going to go back to Rick. I have 3 guys left to activate.
I have 4.
Yes, 4. And that's for this round, I should say.
I'm going to move my general right up here. And go for it.
Okay. And so, I'm going to stand up my sphere cell leader here in the back. Now, the cell leader has a special weapon, which is a range 5 AP2, which means it's got armor piercing 2. Now, normally you save that for big guys that have a lot of armor, but I still kind of want to kill one of these dudes. So I'm going to take a shot at I think the ones I can see the best is the pink one that just shot at me. Range 5, so it's got to be close.
Yeah. Okay. So surviving on 5s.
And shooting on 4s.
1.
Got 2.
And that kills him because I have no armor. And he's already wounded, so he takes another wound and he's dead.
Yeah. How many victory points is he worth?
That
Rick?
gives you all of 1 victory point.
Yeah, 1 victory point.
Hey,
We're off
you
to
took
the
the first one.
First blood. It took us a while to get there. All right, but that's because I had to stand up and then shoot as my short actions. I am now done with my turn. I've got 2 guys left to go.
Which 2 do you got left?
I have my Terraton.
I don't like your
over here,
Terraton.
and I have my Yindage hiding over here.
Oh, I forgot about the Yindage.
See, that's the fun thing about like this.
A wall.
Walls.
That's the fun thing about a wall.
And the 3D nature of this game is that, you can hide guys. You just have to remember yourself that they're there.
You gotta remember that he's there.
I cannot tell you guys how many times I've forgotten units because they were hidden around a wall that I couldn't see.
Well, just because we're having fun, yeah. I'm going to jump up here because, so again, Plague move with a 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to take a shot at, ooh.
Might be able to hit the guy in the back.
Did you? You didn't. You didn't move your Gorgon in the right spot. I have a clear line of sight on his specialist.
Oh, man.
So I am going to take a shot at his specialist. Again, I'm shooting on 6s, so we'll see how it goes.
Surviving on 4s.
That's all of 2.
And resilient 1. Which means I take a wound.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah. See, that's going back to how position is so important.
It's very important.
Is I set up my guy so I get a clear line on him, unknowingly leaving myself open for a counter clear line from somebody else.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where the rules and the grand scheme are fairly simple, but there's a great depth.
Oh yeah.
To them to get very good at this game.
All right, Mr. Terraton and Nasty Boy.
And Yindage. So, I think what I can do... So, the Teraton, as a lone action, has an ability called Teleport, which lets me move up to 3 cubes away without needing any kind of line of sight or path to get there. I literally just teleport to that location. And so the fun thing about these cubes is that they are in 3D, which means if I go 1, 2, 3, I can teleport up to here.
Crap.
Now that is a lawn action, so my guy basically just popped up there and is going to have to wait till next round.
Huh.
But puts me in a pretty advantageous position to attack multiple targets with my teleport ability. If I teleport into a cube with an enemy unit, I automatically start beating the crap out of them.
Well, I guess that means it's me, huh?
It is.
Not to be outdone by your Teraton, I think I'll move my Teraton next, too.
Yeah.
And he's going to teleport to this cube.
I see. It's a bold move.
Come on, Yindid. Bring it.
So, he's trying to goad me into putting my Yindage out onto the wide open, which I'll fall for, because why not? And so I'm going to put my Yindage out here. And Rick, can you tell me, can I get a clear line from the top of my gun
Yes.
to the remaining trooper you got back there?
Yes, you sure can.
Okay. So this is a bit of a Hail Mary. My guy's way out in the open. But we're going to try and make this work. If to get me some victory
Driving on
points.
5s.
Shooting on 5s.
I got 2. Oh,
All right,
I'm toast.
I got 2 8s here.
I'm toast.
And that nets me a whopping 5 successes.
And so, yeah, 2 take 2 of those away.
2 out.
And he's got 3, so that's... And I'm size 1, so I take 1 damage.
1 dead.
And then dead.
1 wound, then dead, and then dead.
And then dead. And 1 more victory point for you.
1 more victory point for me. Now, is that the last guy that you had to go?
Yeah, that was the guy that was going to use a move action to get all the way to that point. That's why I was trying to goad you out.
Yeah.
Dang it!
So.
Brian has been playing with me way too long.
And vice versa. And so with that, that's going to end our round because we no longer have anybody else to activate. So what we do is that we clear activation tokens just to kind of clear up the board here. We're going to leave wound tokens because if you got shot, you're still shot.
Yep.
So make sure.
And we also collect our victory points from locations where Brian and I both are the only models in the 2 objectives for 2 victory points each. So we both get 2 victory points.
Yep. So that brings me up to 4.
Woo! We're going to what, 10? Out.
10. Yep.
Ah.
So I'm on my way there.
I know.
Now, because I technically
Because
went
you're
last.
a red, you're going to run away?
Nope.
Oh, man.
But we're about to start the next round.
Yep.
And so I believe because you technically ran out of guys to go first.
I get to go first.
You get to go first.
Because you went last.
Because I went last. And so we start a new round. We get a fresh roll on our command dice. So these, it's always kind of good to try and use them during your turn. Because they do refresh pretty frequently here.
I'm going to go ahead and keep exactly that.
I'm kind of thinking the same. So I got to move, an extra activation, a shoot, and my special ability here.
Move, 2 extra dice, and a splat.
So
I get to go first.
What are you going to do first?
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. I'm going to teleport onto your Yindage.
Onto my Yindage?
Yep.
But why?
Because I'm bigger than you?
That's a fair point.
So, when you move in on a fight, so fight is considered a long action. But if you end your movement phase in movement action into a cube with an enemy model, you get a free fight.
Yep.
So fight works the same as shooting, except for there's a couple other bonuses you get. So I get 3 dice to start, just like he does. But I get +1 because I moved in for the fight. And then I get +1 for being bigger than him.
Yep, he's a size 3 versus my size 1.
Now, the big important thing is Brian has an option here.
Yes.
He can either survive, attempt to survive,
yep,
or fight back.
And so I'm only going to be having 3 dice. I don't have any modifiers in my favor, and I have no extra dice to kind of put towards this. Now, to Rick's kind of point, I have the option to either survive the attack using my survive skill, which is +6 for my yindage, or I can fight back to try and do damage in return, which is 5s for yindage. So I think I'm going to fight back.
All right, I'm fighting on 4s.
This yindage had a great shot earlier. Let's see if he brings it back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got 1.
2.
You got 2.
But I have a nifty little weapon that knocks back.
Oh no.
And there's a wall right there.
Oh no.
So what happens, Brian?
Well, this will be an interesting chain of events. So I am wounded. I did take 1 wound from that action. And so what Rick is saying is that basically he's going to, with his ability, knockback, can throw me in a direction after winning a fight. You don't have to kill the guy necessarily. You just have to kind of win. And so he's going to slam me into a wall. And so with that is basically I have to make essentially a survive test against a wall hitting me at probably several hundred miles an hour.
And I roll 3 dice as the wall.
Yep, he rolls 3 dice as the wall. They succeed on 5s. I get to make my normal survive, which is on 6s. Because the wall hits harder than I survive.
Oh, look at that. An 8.
So the wall got an 8.
Oh! Only 1.
And I had none. So basically, my yindage got his jaw broken and then flung into a wall where he kind of broke his spine.
So, and how many victory points is he?
He is worth 1 victory point.
Yay! So now I get to do one more thing. I get to use my splat.
He can use his splat. What does your splat do, Rick?
My splat, when I kill an enemy model, allows me to put a zombie on the board, knocked down, and activated in the cube where that guy was.
That was going to create an interesting chain of events of me getting hit, falling prone, then having to stand up immediately.
Yeah, it sure was.
All right. So that is that your entire turn? Are you all set?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. So that was brutal, guys. That hurt a lot. And so I think what's going to happen is that I am going to be kind of mean in return. So I'm going to teleport onto that cube where there are 2 guys because I like picking fights with no advantage or few advantages in my favor.
That's kind of both of us.
I could have gone for this guy because he's prone. I would have had more advantage, but I just kind of wanted to mess up that cube. So I get 3 dice to start. I'm moving into the combat, and I am a size bigger. I'm going to be fighting the guy with the HMG.
Of course he is. So I'm going to fight back, but I have a buddy in the cube. So I do get an extra dice for having a buddy.
Yep. Okay, and so I'm fighting on 4s.
Oh god, I'm fighting on 6s. Hey, screw it, it's worth it.
Here we go.
No, it's not. In any way, shape, or form. I really wish I would have thrown some more dice in that.
That's okay. I managed to get 4 successes, which means I...
A little overkill?
Wound, kill, kill, kill. Now, with this fight, even though there was another model in the cube, I could only target one of them so that those extra damage don't carry over or anything like that. That would be an interesting ability on a weapon or something.
Yeah, it would.
Maybe that's a version 3 thing. But so, with that, we kind of end that activation in the cube there, and my Teraton is ready to go. Now, let's see. Would there be anything else I would want to do? Because I do still have an extra activation. I think I will actually. I'm going to use my extra activation.
So,
oh, go ahead.
Before you do that, real quick, the Terraton that I have on the table, the black and white with the little pop of red.
Yeah.
That's actually because of one of the guys that are watching us right now. Zombie Brush Studios is watching us right now.
Oh, nice.
And he was the inspiration for that. And he's also the reason why I took a class to start actually learning the black and white paint. Hi, Zombie.
Hey.
Okay.
They look
completely
fantastic.
Distracted you.
So
you weren't going to do anything right.
It was a clever move there to try and distract me. But I am going to use an extra activation. And I'm going to activate my Grogan here with his heavy machine gun. And what he's going to do is attack the prone HMG guy that he still has a clear line of sight on. So I get 3 dice to start, and then 2 more for that clear line of sight.
Hold on.
Now I've got 5 dice. Rick is considering whether or not he wants to add more dice in his pool. I'm shooting on 5s.
I am. I'm going to add 2. So with the command dice, generally speaking, you can only use 1 command dice. You can only use 1 move. You can only use 1 shoot. You can only use 1 splat. But with the extra dice, you can use as many of those as you have. And I have 2 of them, so I'm using 2 of them.
And you know what? To make things even more interesting...
Oh, really?
I'm going to use my splat. My special ability for my Rebel Cell Leader lets me swap a stat for 1 action. Basically, my shoot for Grogan's is normally 5, but his survive is 4.
All I can hear is Daria and John Jack both going, "Woo, Rabs!
Yeah.
Woo, Rabs!"
So we're gonna swap that. So my shoot is now a 4 for this shot, and
surviving on 5s. Oh no!
All right, so I got an 8 in there. So I'll do that one, and then I have weight of fire because it's the heavy machine gun. So I re-roll that one. Okay, so I got 4.
I got 2.
So 2 go.
I have no armor.
No armor. And so he is wounded and dead.
No, he was already wounded.
He was already wounded, so he's dead and dead.
He's dead and dead and dead.
Okay. So that was a short action for me. And so what I'm going to do then is to cower behind. Use a move action, as it were, to move kind of behind my human shield and kind of get ready for the next round. All right, and that will end my activations.
So one of the things with Deadzone, when you were outnumbered.
Yep.
It was just 1.
He's worth 1. Okay.
Yep.
1 victory point.
When you're outnumbered by at least 2, you have the option to, instead of activating one of your models, you can pass. Mm-hmm. I have 2 models left. Brian has 4
that have yet to go.
So I am going to pass.
Yeah. Now that's a little known rule. Most people don't take advantage of it when they probably should.
Like Brian.
Like me. Sometimes I do, and then use it poorly. So now I'm kind of in a position where I've got quite a few guys that are just kind of regular shooters against a lot of dudes that I can't see anymore. So, because he's got a guy hidden underneath here, he's got a dude there, and he has the 2 guys right here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to activate this guy, the human shield up above, and he's going to take a rapid fire shot at the Plague Terraton.
What's rapid fire, Brian?
So rapid fire is basically with a lot of the regular rifles, they have an ability that gives them something called fire for effect, which gives me a +1 dice on taking a shot. Now the shot's not going to do damage, but if I succeed, I get more successes than Rick on his survive test. It makes that model pinned and prone for their next action. So it's another one where people often just kind of go for the damage, but in this way I can pin his Terraton and make his life a little bit more difficult. And I believe I still get a dice for elevation. You get a +1
dice for
So I'm not going to be shooting to do damage, but I'm going to try and pin his Terraton.
Surviving on 5s.
Hitting on 5s. All right.
1.
I managed to get 3.
That, sir, is a successful rapid fire.
Yeah. Okay, and he's just going to continue being the human shield up top then. So I've got 3 guys in the back left to go.
This is not boding well for me at all. This really isn't.
This is the part where Rick says that stuff out loud to get into my head that I'm winning.
Because you are. Man.
But it could still swing quite hard. As of right now, one thing I've got to consider is that Rick is going to get a guaranteed 2 points right there because there's very little I can do to move his guys off of that objective. They can be prone on the objective and still collect the victory points. Which means I have to start making plays to get those victory points as well. It can be nice to just kind of sit back and shoot, but there's a lot of times, especially in this game, because it's so tight quarters, you really have to be making those pushes to get up there.
How many do you have left? 3?
I have 3 guys left to go. I have 2 troopers and my leader, who's not cowering in the back,
one more time,
but hiding back there.
Right?
Okay. So with that,
Yeah, I'm gonna pass one more time.
you're gonna pass one more time. That's not great for me, because a lot of his guys are out of range for me, or hidden. And so, what I think I'm going to do then is... Oh, why not? Let's see. Now, I can't actually move up here from down here because this is a wide open gap. So, unfortunately, I can't do the move that would be great. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a step back this way with my leader. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even though the Teraton is prone, I can still take a shot at him. And this is with my AP2 weapon, which is more built for this kind of thing.
Yep.
So I get 3 dice. I don't have any modifiers helping me out.
Me neither.
So let's take a shot here.
5 out of 5.
Shooting on 4s. Dose. All right, so the shot glances off that thick Teraton hide. And because I got it, I'm gonna shoot at him again.
All right.
So another shot, another try. Here we go. 4s.
Ooh.
1. So again, the shot goes wide. Good effort. Good effort. Wasn't hoping to kill with that one. I was hoping to wound. But you know, I've got 2 guys left.
I am going to try a breakaway.
Okay. So over in this melee combat, Rick is going to try to do a short action to have his guy run away from me as quickly as possible. Now, when he does that, he has to make a survive test against me taking a free shot at him. So I get 3 dice to start, plus 1 because I'm a lot bigger.
5 out of 5.
Hitting on 4s.
Oh, come on. Oh, no!
And 2 8s that don't...
That's 2 8s. It doesn't matter because you did 4.
I did 4 damage.
Which is 1 in a wound. And
which cancels out those 2.
take your other victory point.
And I get 1 victory point.
It was worth a shot.
It is worth a shot. A lot of time, Rick, explain maybe why you were going to try to break away.
So, part of the reason why I was going to break away is, point-wise, Brian has the game. Brian's at 6, I'm at 3. If I could have broke away, I could have gotten to another victory point, or I could have taken a shot at one of his models that hasn't activated yet.
For instance, or even the shot, or at
taking
the
a clear
Teraton,
line shot at
the clear
the
line.
Teraton, correct.
Which is not a bad move.
No.
It just didn't turn out in your favor.
No. I need to find I need to pull out Levi's dice.
Levi's dice, for those that don't know, are incredibly good and seemingly broken, but we can't explain why. They're just very lucky dice.
Thank you, Zombie. I couldn't have done it without you.
All right. So because that was Rick's activation, I'm going to activate one of my troopers here. I'm going to have this guy run on over. And that'll be his activation. I've got one guy left to go.
So do I. So, my leader here is going to go 1, 2, 3. Move dice to there.
Okay.
Go for it.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
It is. It's very bold.
All right. So, what I'm going to do...
I have to survive this.
Well, I mean...
Whatever you're going to do, I got to survive it.
So, my guy, I was also gunning for that one. So, I'm going to move my guy. I do 1, 2, and then I have to use a move dice to get him up over the top. And so now Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to fight the dude with the big duster.
I'm totally fighting back.
All right. So I'm fighting. I get 3 dice plus 1 because I'm charged in. And so I fight on 6s.
I fight on 5s.
This will be great.
Son of a turkey butt.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's just wounded. He's just wounded.
Erg.
2 successes against Rick's 1.
Well, that almost worked.
Okay. Well,
and that ends the round.
That ends the round.
So we clear activation tokens.
Clear activation tokens.
And then we collect victory points.
Yep.
Which, unfortunately, because Brian ran up on that one, so both of us occupy that cube, so neither of us get the victory points for that.
Yep.
But I do have that one.
Yep. So he does get the 2 victory points right there. I'm not on any other ones uncontested.
So presently,
so
the score is 6-5.
6-5. Like I said, it's still very close.
And you went last.
I did go last, so Rick gets to go first. Which is not
But
very
command dice.
Now, Rick, how many models do you have on the
Not
board?
enough. So more than half of my list has died. So because of that, I don't get the free reroll.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think your dice are telling you you're gonna fight
oh,
this round.
I think I'm fighting.
All right. I think I'm going to stick with what I got here, as well.
I was really hoping for a splat.
Get some more models on the board.
Yeah. Shoot.
And so we are entering into round 3.
Yep. Round 3.
Which you can see with Deadzone, even though we have a lower model count as far as points go, it moves along at a pretty good clip.
Why not? So, I'm going to activate my Teraton first.
Yeah.
He's going to stand up.
You're going to stand up.
That's a short action. Unfortunately, because teleport is a long action, I can't teleport. But what I can do is move. And then use a move dice.
Yes, he can.
And charge into your Teraton.
That's what the people really wanted.
That's what the viewers wanted.
Yep.
Teraton on Teraton.
Yep. So
I get 3 dice plus 1 for charging in.
All right, so I get 3 dice. We're the same size. And so just to even the odds, I'm going to add an extra dice in the mix. And I'm going to fight back on 4s.
I'm going to lose this fight.
Here we go.
Fighting on 5. 4s? 4s.
4s. I got an 8.
I got an 8. I got 3.
I also got 2.
You got 2. But
yep.
Teratons, both the Reb Teraton and the Plague Teraton, have a nifty little ability called Tough.
Yep.
Which means we immediately ignore one of those.
True. However, you won the combat by 1.
I did.
Which means you get to use knockback, don't you?
Knockback!
So
couldn't we be higher? There's no wall.
Unfortunately, we are as high as we're going to get.
Yeah, I'm going to knock you into this cube.
All right, so he's going to knock me over. Knock me over, baby. All right.
I think it's pen too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I fell.
Yep. Because you don't have jetpacks.
I don't have jetpacks.
Duh.
Enforcers have
Enforcers. Well,
Okay. So that was some bold moves going there.
it's gonna come right back at me too.
Maybe in a little bit. I kind of want to see how this goes.
Sure.
So, my rebel trooper is he's got you know.
I am wounded.
He's got the eye of the tiger.
I am fighting back.
So I get an extra dice because he's wounded.
Correct.
And I'm going to use my splat right now to switch his shoot and his fight stats so I can fight on 5s.
So we're both fighting on 5s.
You're the best.
I got 1.
I got
2.
2.
Ah!
And so with that,
That's 2 victory points.
that's 2 victory points. Which puts me up at 8. Okay. That was a long action to do that fight, so my trooper is gonna stay right there.
Well.
And I've got a couple of guys left to go.
Yep. I have 1.
The zombie?
Yeah, they do only. And unfortunately, zombies do not have the fun 2-3 movement.
No. And he's got to stand up.
I know. Pass.
Okay. So now, I've got things I can climb up over there, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to stand up with my Teraton. Similarly, I cannot teleport, but I can move and then use my move dice to get myself back up and into the fight. Would I even need to use my move dice?
Nope.
Why not have to use my move dice? I'm going to keep
Well,
that.
actually, that's an arc, so you would.
I would. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure.
Yeah, because there's no wall on this side. It's an
Gotcha.
arc.
I kind of figured.
Yeah.
All right. So round 2, I'm going to have 3 dice to start. I get +1 for charging in. And because I really want it, I'm going to throw this extra dice in. Let's see.
I am fighting back.
Let's see if we can make
I
some
don't have much
magic
of a
happen.
choice.
Fighting on 4s.
2 with an 8. I got 3.
3 and 3. So we are
Stalemate.
we are slapping each other with our claws. All right. Well, that's
tail too.
now. Unfortunately, I don't have any fight dice like Rick does, so I can't keep that fight going. So I think that they might be standing there for the next round.
And unfortunately, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So it's my activation.
Yeah.
The only thing I have left is to stand up my zombie and put him in the corner and hope for those 2 victory points. But unfortunately, you will get 2 victory points there.
Yep. So I'm going to get 2 victory points here at the end of the round. I'm at 8 currently, so that'll
Correct.
put me at 10. We could
So
play
in
it out.
most games, when people come to this kind of conclusion before the end of the round, they call it.
Yep.
Brian and I have this really bad knack of saying, no, let's go and see what happens. So Brian's going to use a couple other guys to see if he can wipe me out totally.
I mean, sure. So I'm gonna hop down here with my Grogan. I can see his zombie, and so I'm gonna take a shot. And if nothing else, I'm gonna repin him.
Yeah.
So.
I guess I should grab some dice.
If you want to.
So, yeah, the zombies survive on a 6.
I'm shooting on 5s.
I got an 8.
With way to fire 1.
Doesn't matter.
2.
So he got 2. So, and I got 1. So in most cases, I would be wounded. But with zombies, they have this nifty little thing called vulnerable. What vulnerable means is if you take any damage, you're dead. So it kills my zombie. What I think is really fun about zombies, he gets no victory points off of it.
I don't get any victory points off of that. But it was fun.
And I don't have any other activations, sir.
So I'm just gonna run some dudes. Let's see, 1, 2. I can almost get there, but not quite. And 1, 2, 1, 2. And that'll be the end of the round.
50 points are covered, and look at that.
10
to 5. Brian wins.
Great game.
Well, I guess that does it for the live Twitch feed thing. We're still trying to figure this thing out. But if you like it, give us a follow. We're also going to throw this up on our YouTube channel.
Yep.
And we're going to take a break, get this all shut down, and then we're going to start
recording the episode.
Yeah. Time to record our next episode of Deadzone the Podcast.
Hope you guys like this, and we'll probably do a couple more in the future.
Oh, yeah. And some Dreadball.
And some Dreadball. Oh, yeah.
So this, yeah, because we can, the view's pretty good for Dreadball.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for joining us, guys. Yep. Have a good one.
See ya. Bye.